Wanted to share a little bit that I've learned while working on the pinball machine here with some of the parts. One of the things that I want to talk about is these little terminal blocks. Now, I had to kind of learn the hard way that the smaller ones that have the 0.1 inch spacing, which is the 254 millimeter, those have a hard time accepting ferrules that are very large for the wires. Ended up being that since I'm working with 18 gauge and 22 gauge, the ferrules were kind of hard to fit in there. The 18 would not fit under any circumstances, so I looked for some different options. Find these 5.08 millimeter spacing on the pitch for the pins, the space between. These will fit in every other hole on a PCB. The pins fit, so it's just double of the 2.54. The problem I had was I tried ordering ones from different vendors, and while you can't really see here looking at it, the problem I found was this little blue guy over here. This is a 5.08, just like the green one over here, but the wire ferrules did not want to fit in here for 18 gauge because basically the height on where it comes down and pinches is just a tiny bit shorter, enough to prevent the ferrule from fitting in there. So I had to go and order the ones that would fit. So be careful when you're ordering the manufacturer to manufacturer. You're going to get some variation. They may have specifications on their website showing what the actual dimensions are. I just kind of learned that the hard way on this. One of the other things I want to talk about is fuse blocks. I've been putting in fuse blocks, some fuses on the solenoids to keep from burning up the solenoids. I came across several different varieties. Here's one that just goes into a PCB that you can put a slow blow fuse or a fast blow fuse into. I ended up going with the glass fuses because of the voltage that they go up to. They go higher than 32 volts. I think that's what the blade style fuses are. I think for cars, I think they're rated at 32 volts. That has to do with breakdown voltages, and you want to be careful on that they can arc. If you're running like a 50 volt solenoid or something like 48 volt solenoid, you could have some potential issues. So I went with the glass fuses because those, 250 volt rating on them for the arc on that, if I've got my terminology right. But here, like I said, here's the one that fits in a PCB. Got little pins coming out the bottom. I found one that you can just screw down to a board, put your glass fuse in there. It's got terminals on each side. The one that I'm trying is this little DIN mount fuse. This one it actually has, you can pull it out. The fuse is inside there. It's all kind of wrapped up. It's got a little snap for the DIN rail to snap onto it. And a little terminal, you just have a little wire terminal that you can put in there, ring terminal on that, and cinch it down for good positive connection. The one thing I'm going to have to find out is how durable are these particular connectors in here. I've seen some things online where people were talking about how they vary in the metals that are used, and at least one site was talking about how you want to have, I think it was bronze phosphor is the one that they were talking about using. They were saying that some of them use brass, those don't hold up with high amperage for long term, pulling them in and out a bunch. The other thing they talked about was they were saying some of these will come with what they call pot metal for the material. That, if I understand right, that's kind of like a magnesium based metal. I don't know for certain, but it's they were saying the durability on those were quite questionable. I'll find out, on these whether or not they work or not. And so the one nice thing about this little PCB one is you can put it someplace locally, and it's got a little cap that goes over the top of it to protect it from anything falling down and arcing out on it. But I may or may not use those. For certain now, I've been using these. Haven't had any problems at this point, but I'm still just kind of doing the basic wiring on it. Anyway, that's kind of the sum total of it. The other stuff, I haven't been idle. I've been working on stuff. Built up one of these it's a little FET driver board. Pretty ugly little board. You don't want to see the underside where I soldered, because it's like I've got essential tremors, and trying to solder even through hole for me is just almost impossible. I shake so much. SMT surface mount, forget it, man. That's not happening for me. But I've been working on this thing. Slow progress. A little bit on the inserts for the play field, trying to figure out how to do that with a router because I don't have a CNC router. I got to do it by hand. I'll talk about that at another point in time. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now with things. So I'll shoot something more, a video to help out talking about things I've learned the hard way again at a later point in time.